Donald Trump recently crashed XRP in the stock market, and the events of this Monday have left everything in a full state of chaos. We all knew that Monday would be somewhat chaotic, but I doubt that many of you anticipated things would go out of control. So I'm going to discuss some really crucial facts regarding what's going on, what you can do, and how you can actually make money during this time. As we can see right here, XRP has had an extremely tumultuous ride. We were trading at $2.08 per coin just last night. Around 3 in the morning for most of you, we witnessed XRP plummet to $1.61 per coin over the night. It swiftly rebounded to $2, and it is currently trading at roughly $1.86. And a lot of people are currently left wondering, well, where is XRP going to go next? All over the place, this object has been bouncing. People are currently being destroyed in the futures markets, and there have been liquidations totaling billions of dollars. And what a great question that is. But before we discuss how to create money, which is arguably the most crucial topic, we do want to discuss the news and what is probably going to happen next so that we can, of course, comprehend how that money will be made. I would like to begin by discussing this. Rumors surfaced that the White House was contemplating a 90-day tariff halt about 10:10 a.m. Eastern. According to a CNBC story at 10:15 a.m., Trump is thinking about halting tariffs on all nations other than China for 90 days. The S&P's market capitalization increased by more than $3 trillion from its lowest point by 10/18. The White House reportedly did not know that Trump was mulling a 90-day freeze at 10:25. The headlines for the 90-day tariff moratorium were then deemed inaccurate by CNBC. The tariff halt headlines were deemed fake news by the White House official. In other words, based solely on fake news, the market capitalization of the stock and cryptocurrency markets increased by $3 trillion and a significant amount, respectively. People still have unanswered questions about where this information originated, who obtained the material, and who gave CNBC permission to disclose it. However, I do believe that this news organization should be held responsible for this, since, to be honest, they are manipulating the market to a great extent, and people are believing what they are saying. Additionally, this is happening in a terrible manner. As you can see, 6 minutes after the phony news report at 10:40 a.m., the market capitalization of the S&P had increased by $2.5 trillion from its peak 22 minutes earlier. Alright, so this is the height of market manipulation at the moment. You don't want to be destroyed. And with Trump, things have gotten a lot wilder. As you can see, Trump has threatened to apply an additional 50% tariff on China on April 9th if the country does not remove the 34% duty by April 8th. To put it another way, they only have 1 day, or roughly 24 hours, perhaps 36 hours, to revoke their tariffs. They will be subject to additional 50% levies if they fail to do so. And it doesn't even stop there. At the same time, BlackRock announced that he would not rule out a further 20% drop in the stock market. But take a look at this. This is Donald Trump's most recent declaration. Alright, this follows the discussion about China tariffs. He keeps bringing up the subject of more tariffs. He claims that in addition to their already record-breaking tariffs, China imposed 34% retaliation duties yesterday, non-monetary tariffs, unlawful business subsidies, and extensive protracted currency manipulation. Even so, I have warned that any nation that retaliates against the United States by imposing further tariffs on top of the long-standing abusive tariffs on our country will be instantly subject to new, far higher tariffs on top of the ones that were initially imposed. Therefore, by tomorrow, April 8, 2025, if China doesn't reverse their 34% increase over their existing long-standing trading violations, with effect from April 9th, the United States will levy additional 50% duties. Completely ridiculous, huh? In essence, if everything proceeds as Trump is suggesting, the total amount of tariffs the United States would impose on China will be more than 100%. This is a lot of tariff discussion, even though China obviously has about 36 hours to remove these levies. Furthermore, it appears that the majority of nations, including Europe and India, are open to negotiations with Trump. However, China appears to be making a very different statement, namely that we will not back down. Therefore, how China reacts to this over the course of the next 36 to 48 hours will have a significant impact on the markets. In the event that China basically says, no, we're going to raise our tariffs again, screw you, then, well, it won't be effective for anyone. President Trump has now stated the following regarding the entire matter. According to him, President Trump claims that nations from all around the world have contacted him to discuss new trade agreements. According to Trump, there is a good chance that certain nations may engage in negotiations with him. It is likely that they will lift their tariffs. Those that wish to engage in negotiations include those from Europe, India, Vietnam, Canada, and Mexico. Today, the White House is inundated with calls from people who want to bargain and discuss better terms and rates. In essence, Trump is suggesting that if you want to get a better deal, no taxes. He seemed to agree with that. In light of this, the United States of America appears to be doing fairly well overall. Everyone will benefit if there are no tariffs for anyone in the end. The United States will be able to begin competing more effectively with many of these international markets. However, buying Chinese products is really the main problem here. That was the root of many of these problems. For a very long time, China has had a huge surplus in its commerce with the rest of the globe. That has, after all, enabled them to amass enormous wealth. That needed to be addressed somehow. This is obviously basically blasting everyone and tearing off the bandage. Still, something needed to be done. So I understand what you're thinking, like, okay, these markets have been crazy, like out of this world. And you're entirely correct in saying that. It also doesn't look like it will get any cooler down here in the coming days. If we look at the one-day chart, for instance, we may find single-day profits of 34% and single-day losses of 18.79%. Here, that is not out of the question. We experienced a 20% loss on XRP at the all-time low before we recovered and are currently at 3.26%, which indicates that yes, there is a chance that we will have more turbulence in the future. One instance from recent history occurred on February 24th when the tariff battles were just beginning to intensify. On this particular day, we were down almost 15% at high. After recovering a portion of that, we were genuinely up going into the following trading day. However, between these 2 days there was a lot of negative price action. Additionally, these candles are beginning to resemble one another a lot. High degree of instability. These markets are being manipulated by Wall Street. Fake news is being broadcast via the news stations such as CNBC that I showed you. People are making money off of the abundance of false information that is being spread. To be honest, Wall Street plays this game, so I want to make sure that none of you are getting cheated over here. They simply act in this manner. They attempt to defraud others and hope that none of you will catch anything close to the bottom right now, which, by the way, we paid a lot less than what we currently have. And all they want is for you to panic sell and lose your money so they can take advantage of the liquidity you provided. That's exactly it. Having said that, you will want to follow and keep an eye on things if you want to make money right now and catch the next green candle, which I believe is a very likely possibility sometime after we find our bottom in the coming days. There is a chance that you will make a 34% gain in a single day. Just visit my website, Levi Crypto Crusaders, the Levi Crypto Crusaders website. Adhere to the 3 steps. After registering for an exchange deposit, send your email. You will also get an invitation for yourself. Additionally, you may join our exclusive VIP communities where I share all of my trades, and you can go ahead and have a great time with the other traders. I hope to see you all there. Press the like button to ensure you don't miss a single video. Subscribe if you like the content. I'll see you all again soon. Goodbye.